Hi friends, welcome to this amazingly interesting topic of the iconic landmark of Jaipur, the Hawa Mahal. Welcome all of you. Let me begin with the traditional Rajasthani greeting, Khamagani, to all of you. Well, this is so interesting for me because Jaipur is my hometown and this place is very close to my heart and uh, yeah. Kamagani friends, welcome to this amazingly interesting topic of Hawa Mahal, and I hope I'm audible. Hi, I hope I'm audible. Hi, this is Dushyant Singh, and I am beginning this talk of on Hawa Mahal, and I want to talk to you about this fantastic monument. Let's begin this amazing uh, monument and its journey. So this is how Hawa Mahal used to look like back in the day. It's a beautiful black and white image of Hawa Mahal. Thanks to Swapna ma'am, we could have a look at this wonderful vintage image. And this is how Hawa Mahal looks like today. So I have had the good fortune of visiting this monument in February when these pictures were clicked, and this magnificent structure is about 80 feet in height and about 80 to 90 feet in height, and as you can see, it's made up of pink and red sandstone. And if you look closely, you can see that it is in the shape of a More Mukut. Because why a More Mukut? Because the king Savai Pratap Singh, who got this monument built, uh, told his architect Lal Chand Usta to fashion a memorable monument which was an ode to the Lord Krishna, because he was a Krishna devotee. Savai Pratap Singh ji was a Krishna devotee. So this structure is an ode to Lord Krishna, and it looks like a more mukut, so to speak. When I say that, it also means that it looks like uh, a crown made out of more punk, and it has got five stories from bottom to top, as you can see, and we'll have a closer look in another picture. Yeah. So, so this gives you a very clear image of what the beautiful lattice work and the chhajjas and the finials and each window and each jharokha is different from the other, broadly speaking. And uh, here I would like to draw your attention to the beautiful architectural details. This type of architecture, where the chhajjas and the edges are sloping downwards into pointy aspect, is taken from Bengal. It is from Bengal that this style was exported westwards, and the Mughal Empire played a major role in the Mughal Empire played a major role in this dissemination of the architectural language. So the Chala or the Bangla type of architecture of the temples of the east, the Bengal area, that translated into these kind of architectural style in Mughal monuments in Agra, in Delhi, and then because Rajputs and Mughals had a very close association, so it permeated into the architecture also in the Rajputana of that time. Um, yeah, so let's move on. And here I would also like to say that it is red and pink sandstone, and uh, the finials are all every jharoka, every window is topped by these beautiful finials, as you can see. It also resembles a honeycomb of a bee structure. If you uh, have seen, if you have seen that. So moving on. Okay, so this is interesting. This is actually the original inspiration uh, that this structure is called the Khetri Mahal. Actually, it's in a place called Khetri. It was a principality. It's in Shekhawati area of Rajasthan, and Khetri is famous for copper mining. And so Khetri Mahal is the palace which was seen by Maharaja Savai Pratap Singh, and he really liked this beautiful play of these chhajjas and jharokas and windows, and he that day decided that I'm going to make a structure far more magnificent than this, but this is the original inspiration. Um yeah. So you have seen that the expanse, the facade of Hawa Mahal rises to about 90 feet. It's got about hundreds of windows, and it has a five tier structure. Looks like a more punk, and why it was built, we'll get into that thing later on. This is the Khetri Mahal, the inspiration from which Hawa Mahal was planned and conceptualized and executed. Okay, so one interesting thing that I want to tell you is this, that the more Mukut facade of the Hawa Mahal, uh, the more Mukut facade of the Hawa Mahal is actually the rare part of the palace. It is not the palace's entrance. So I am a resident of Jaipur, and I've been there a million times. But even I never knew. I actually went there and saw all of this, and so that's the rare part. So what is the front part? So front part is where I'm taking you right now. The front gate, the main entrance of Hawa Mahal. We are going to see how it looks like, and we're going to enter through that. And I hope you feel that you are going on this journey with me. Let's see. Okay, so guys, this is the uh, main entrance of Hawa Mahal. It's called the Anand Pole. Anand Pole. Anand Pole. Here the word pole means in Rajasthani, pole means a gateway. So this is a main gate of the Hawa Mahal, the Anand Pole. And from this we step into the main precinct of Hawa Mahal. This is the second main gateway, and this is called the Chandrapole. And as you see, Chandrapole, if you notice, there is this crescent moon right on the top of the trefoil arch of this gateway, and there are so that's how it gets its name, the Chandrapole. And isn't it magnificent, these Dwarpals on both sides? I was taken. I was taken aback in a pleasant way when I went into this beautiful courtyard, and one gateway after the other. Uh, yeah. So now we are getting into the, so to speak, the sanctum sanctorum of the Hawa Mahal. We are entering this Chandrapole and into the courtyard. This is the view you get when you get into the courtyard of the Hawa Mahal from the entrance. As you can see, it's a courtyard, and this is the inside of the Hawa Mahal. The more Mukut facade is the exterior, the rear of the palace. This is the inner quarter, so to speak. Okay, so now here four of the stories are visible. The fifth story, or the Hawa Mandir, the topmost, is not visible here. It's at the back of it. Okay, so here the bottommost story is called the Sharad Mandir, where various festivities used to happen during that phase. And the one above that, if you can see the Shahjahani arches with those beautiful mirror work, that is the uh, yeah, this is the Kundan Mandir where all this we'll actually go into it and see, but just to give you a context, the one above it is the Vichitra Mandir. Vichitra Mandir is because the king was a Krishna devotee, and in that Vichitra Mandir he used to have his religious practices and various pujas and archanas and all of that. The one above that, the fourth story, is called the Prakash Mandir. It's called the Prakash Mandir because it had open courtyards on both the sides of this structure, and lots of light used to come into it. So it was like floodlit, so Prakashmay. So it was Prakashmay all the time. That's how it got its name. Now, let's move on. Okay, so uh, this is Maharaja Savai Pratap Singh Ji over here, the ruler of Jaipur, who got this magnificent uh, structure made. And as you can see, more punk next to him, it is symbolic of the fact that he was a Krishna Bhakt. And his brief to Lal Chand Usta, the architect, was this, that the structure is going to look like a more punk mukut. And well, he was a very, very well known poet and a patron of art and architecture and culture and music. And by the way, he used to write poetry in praise of Lord Krishna, and he used to write poetry in the praise of Lord Krishna, and in a style, in a language called Dingal language. And it was a language of the Charans and Bhats, the court. This is a caste in Rajasthan, Charan. They take the best of Brahmins and Rajputs, and they were basically uh, a caste who used to sing praises for the king, and used to really uh, glorify their and massage the ego. So Dingal language is the language in which the king used to write poems, and also in Brij Bhasha. In fact, his pen name was Brij Nidhi also. And all these poems were in praise of Lord Krishna. Yeah. So let's move on. So that's Savai Pratap Singh Ji for you. Moving on. Well, this is the entrance of the private quarter of the king, Savai Pratap Singh Ji, and this is called the Pratap Mandir. And Pratap Mandir is where he used to stay, and this room used to overlook this large courtyard. And uh, just have a look at how beautiful this gilded door frame is. It's made up of metal and wood, and it's gloriously beautiful. I mean, what an eye can catch, a picture or a video can never do justice to that. Rest assured, that was magnificent. It was beautiful when I saw it. I hope you can see the beauty too. So these doors are metal and wood. Yeah. And this is a very interesting arch which leads into the Pratap Mandir, the private residence of the king, Maharaja Savai Pratap Singh Ji. And when I saw this beautiful, this arch, I stood there and gazed and enjoyed it for a moment, because in Delhi we haven't seen these arches. It's a variation of the Shah Jahani arch. It's a scalloped arch, but it has a very interesting tweak to it. Uh, getting the element of the more punk also, so to speak. If you notice it carefully, it looks like a more punk, isn't it? I found this doorway extremely gorgeous, so I thought I'll capture it and show it to you. Yeah. So this is another very very beautifully painted and decorated doorway of the royal residence of Pratap Mandir, and it's gorgeous. I thought I would show this to you. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, so this is the so when now we are going into the Hawa Mahal inside, how it looks from inside. I wanted to show you guys this thing. It's very important because we should know how it looked like from inside, and these are beautiful. It's a riot of color. If you see the sunlight is illuminating these multicolored uh, glass exterior, and it is gorgeous. Look at this. The reds and the greens and the yellows are like bursting. The color is like it's amazing. Yeah. So here I want to also show you that this is how the entire structure, right from bottom to the top, it is with this ramp. So there are no stairs connecting one floor to the other. There are these ramps, and I wanted you to see it because this is how people went from bottom to top. And uh, I thought this is something which should be brought to light. Yeah. This is a tiny little window from where I was peeking down at the Pratap Mandir in the courtyard down below. So, there are windows on both sides of this honeycomb beehive structure that Hawa Mahal is. A set of hundreds of windows looking out into the hundreds of windows looking out into the market below, which is called the Johari Bazaar, the thoroughfare of the jewelers, and there are windows which are looking into the palace complex and the courtyard to have a look at the pomp and show and the dances and the Ras Leelas happening in the courtyard down below, because uh, Krishna Bhakti and all of this went together. Yeah, and okay, this is another stunning view of Hawa Mahal from inside. And look at this, one arch telescoping into the other. It's magnificent. I loved it. One of this window, I took this picture because it captures the city palace in the distance, and the Aravali hill beyond it, capturing the Jaigarh fort, which was built by Jai Singh II. So it's amazing. This captures the city palace and the Jaigarh fort in the distance. And by the way, all these colors and the play of oranges and greens and yellows and others, they change from one story to the other, one window to the other. So there's no monotony. There's so much of color here and there. It's wonderful. Okay, so. Before moving forward, let me just talk to you about why was the Hawa Mahal built. Hawa Mahal was built because uh, the royal women observed parda. Parda was, I mean, it is also a practice where women, draw a veil on themselves and they don't interact with the outsiders and specifically males. Uh, in the royal household, it was considered very important because they had to maintain their privacy and they had to maintain their sort of a distance between the plebeians and they were the patricians, so they were like maintaining a distance and it's also an element of patriarchy somewhere. So Hawa Mahal was built by the king so that the women of the zanana, the royal household, they could see what's happening across on the Johari Bazaar and in the thoroughfare, because they used to be very bored. They wanted some change. So this palace was built so that they could maintain their privacy, and yet they could look down and enjoy what's happening in the market down below, because nobody from outside could look inside, but these women could have a good change. They could see the Gangor and the Tej festivities down below, because as you know, Jaipur is very well known for Gangor and Tej festivities, because uh, for some reason, Parvati, the deity, is worshipped for both the festivities, and in fact, from the Zanana Deodi of the city palace, the Gangor procession goes out. It goes out from the city palace, from the Zanana Deodi, and winding its way across the old city, and it's a sight to behold. People from far and wide come there, and so to see Tej festivities and Gangor festivities and other daily things, these women used to use this Hawa Mahal to see that. Now here I would like you to show. So we are at the so no, we are at the Prakash Mandir. I have clicked this picture from the courtyard on either side of the Prakash Mandir, and there are several such chhatris with the Bangladar roof and the finials and the Shahjahani arch below the Bangladar roof. So it's amazing, and the workmanship is beautiful. This is picture which I clicked from the uh, from that story of Prakash Mandir, and it gives a beautiful bird's eye view of the courtyard. This courtyard is where the Pratap Mandir opens into, and the royal chamber of the king, royal chamber of the king opens into, and this is the place where the Hindola festival or the uh, Jhulan festival of Radha Krishna used to be celebrated, because the king was a Krishna Bhakt. And this is where the women used to prance around and play Holi, and this entire area used to reverberate with the music. The sound of the laughter. You can imagine, it's amazing. So let's move on. Okay, so this is from the courtyard of the Prakash Mandir, how the Hawa Mahal looks like from that place. So I wanted the viewers to have this look and this view, how these jharokhas and chajjas and the jalis look like. It's gorgeous. Yeah. And this is one tiny little window of the mandir. The Prakash Mandir, which looks down into the Johari Bazaar, and yeah, it's amazing. You can imagine how these royal ladies would be gazing down upon these windows, looking at the down market down below. Another picture of the backside of the uh, Hawa Mahal from the Prakash Chowk. Yeah. Yeah, and this is how the Prakash Mandir looked like from inside. If you see, it is on the fourth floor, and it is daytime, and it's flooded with light. That's how it got its name, Prakash Mandir, like flooded with light. Okay, this is very interesting. This view is from the Prakash Mandir, and that and that and that thoroughfare you see there over is Johari Bazaar, and that intersection is the Badi Chaupad. So, Vidyadhar Bhattacharya, the architect of Jaipur walled city, the Bengali architect, did a magnificent work in designing Jaipur, and it was inspired by the Vedic knowledge of Shilpa Shastra and Vastu Shastra, and it was on the grid pattern, and all the streets cut each other at these choppads. One of this choppad, which is undergoing renovation, and also metro work is going on over here, is a little in dilapidated condition. But this was a big public square. So Chowpad was a big public square on which these huge roads cut at right angles. So Vidyadhar Bhattacharya did magnificent work in designing this beautiful city. Um, yeah. And one more thing I want to quickly add over here. Uh, one of my favorite chroniclers of Delhi, R.V. Smith, had he had written in one of the articles that when Junoon was being shot in Jaipur, Kendall and Jennifer Kendall used to come to Johari Bazaar for shopping of jewelry and other things, while Shashi Kapoor used to hog on all the tasty sweets which this place is famous for because he had a sweet tooth. So this is a very interesting aside. I thought I'll tell you. Okay. These are the two courtyards from the top between each gateway. So just to give you you an idea how it looks like from top. Okay, this is very interesting. This view I captured because I wanted you to see the world famous Jantar Mantar, which is also a World Heritage Site, from here. And Jantar Mantar, as you know, or if you don't know, some of you, this was built by Savai Jai Singh II, and he built five Jantar Mantars. These were basically astronomical observatories. And why I'm mentioning Jantar Mantar today is because today is World Astronomy Day also. So this particular giant triangular wall is called the Vrihat Samrat Yantra, and it is used to calculate the time, the local time, and it's extremely accurate, extremely accurate. And when we are on Savai Jai Singh II, let me tell you, the Bangla Sahib Gurudwara in Delhi was actually his Bangla, Savai Jai Singh II's Bangla, which was later on given to the Sikhs to build the Gurudwara. That's how the name Bangla Sahib comes, because it was Bangla of Savai Jai Singh II. And while he was staying at that site, he got the the Delhi Jantar Mantar also built. So yeah. And in that distance, we can also, in the right, we can see the city palace and the Jaigarh fort built by Savai Jai Singh II on the hill next to it. And on the left hand side, we can see that tall minaret. It's called the Sarga Suli or the Isar Lat, built by Savai Ishwari Singh. And yeah, so let's move on from here. This is from the window towards the towards the Johari Bazaar side, how it looks like, and the whole city spread out, and the Aravali hills in the far distance. Few more views over here from inside. And this is how the top story looks like, the Hawa Mandir. So this is the Hawa Mandir, the top story from which the entire structure gets its name Hawa Mahal. And as you can see over here, it's mentioned, it's written in Hindi also, Hawa Mandir. I hope you can see Hawa Mandir written. So this is the topmost story. And yeah. So now I would like you to also know that the king was a Krishna Bhakt, and he thought that let me seek divine blessings and divine guidance when he started his construction of this particular monument. So he built this very famous Govardhan Nathji Mandir to seek his blessings. It's just next to the Hawa Mahal, and look at the beautiful painting work over there, the lotuses and the temples and other things, and the elephant. Yeah. So various scenes from the Krishna's life, the Krishna Leela, are depicted on the walls with other beautiful details. And here is the main entrance, the facade of the temple with its beautiful work, and the lotuses. I especially love the green leaves and the lotus combination. It was stunning. And this is the Sanctum Sanctorum, and where the Murti of the idol of the Krishna is installed. And so this is basically the So this is basically where Krishna is, treated like a living deity, and throughout the day he's given beautiful clothes to wear, and food is served to him. He's treated like a living human being, and lots of nice music is played to him, and these kind of things. And so he's treated. So Krishna Bhakti here is like seva to the god, and this is how seva is done, by showering the Lord with all the love and all the affection and all the worldly pleasures. So the last few pictures that I thought I'll show you are these beautiful paintings on the walls of this temple, and the jharokhas and everything. Yeah. So with that, I come to the end of this talk. I hope you liked it, and let me end it with the way I began it, with the traditional Rajasthani greeting of Khamangani. And so yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for joining. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, let me see. Let me see. Yeah, Sweta, I think there are about 900 or so jharokas, and yeah. So so when the wind blows, the hot winds in Rajasthan, when they blow through this jalis and this screen, it's a giant screen, and it cools down the hot winds. And when the winds come into the courtyard, they are cooled down, and it's beautiful over there. It's very, very pleasant. Uh, Anything else you want to ask? Uh, yeah, Krishna is a very, very popular deity in Rajputana. Yes, Sweta, you are absolutely right. Meera and Govind Dev Ji Mandir is not very far. It's just stone's throw from this place, because even Hawa Mahal is part of the city palace. It's just the edge of the city palace. The Govind Dev Ji, the famed Govind Dev Ji Mandir, is inside, much closer to city palace. Yeah. The glass work, Rajat, is not original. I'm afraid the vagaries of time have taken their toll on them, and they have been fitted recently. There was a big renovation, and guys, just to let you know, Jaipur is a World Heritage Site. It was declared the walled city is a World Heritage Site. It was declared so last year. Before that, the Amer Fort and the Jantar Mantar were World Heritage Sites. So yes. Uh, yes, Parul in Chittod also similar chalk is there. And yeah, thank you, Swati. Uh, Yeah, the foundation, Sweta, you are right. The foundation of Hawa Mahal is not too deep. The reason being, if you have seen the structure, it is perforated by thousands of jalis and so many jharokas. So the weight of the structure is not too high, which is why the foundation is not too deep. Yes, that's right. Uh, Mughal Azam was shot at Jantar Mantar, Parul. I don't think so. It must have been shot at the city palace or somewhere next to it. I don't know. Yes, Swapna ma'am, you are right that there are no tall structures next to this, so it's very, very important. So the Jaipur Municipal Corporation has come up with a standard uh, rule, and because of which the UNESCO World Heritage Site, uh, uh, the place was declared a World Heritage Site, because the government was so strict in implementing these rules that no tall structures are going to come anywhere in the walled city. Otherwise, it obliterates the view and spoils the whole thing. Yeah, Sweta, it's very right. It's one of the rare buildings where ramps are there, no stairs are there. Yes, because these ladies and the women of the household, royal household, used to be taken to topmost stories with the help of these makeshift sort of what do you call it, something to roll, something like that. Yeah. So any questions? If that is not, so then this is the end of it. I hope you liked it, and thank you very much. Hope to see you soon, sometime very soon. Thank you very much.